Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a game about digging a hole, where our quest in this second achievement playthrough, or second run, which is our achievement playthrough, is to completely empty the whole garden, which I get a feeling that we're going to need the thing in the chest for, which is probably a laser, I think. But we don't know yet. Hopefully we'll figure out today. We have found in the last episode, you might have missed it because it went really quickly, our second special ore. Actually, I'm going to buy one dynamite because I want to blow up one of these big rocks just for laughs. I mean, that's a big rock. Yeah, we have a problem. As in, that it's gone. That went through the rock. That's amazing. So that's $100 wasted. That's cool, yeah. And the problem is, I don't have any topics to talk about. I thought for a little bit, I couldn't figure out anything. So that's a problem. Because now you're just going to watch this. Just an empty screen. For like 20 minutes. Are you down for that? Right. Enjoy. No, I'm kidding. Oh, here we go. Let's talk about books. Are you guys readers? I know books haven't been too popular for the past few years, but they seem to be coming back, like, massively, which is nice. I used to be a reader as a kid, but nowadays, not really a reader. Like, the last time I really read something was, how? When would it have been? Like, 10 years ago? Maybe more. And then I discovered podcasts. And since I think I started with podcasts in 2018, I basically just binged podcasts every single day. I've kind of swapped it around with some audiobooks every now and then, but actually physical reading, not really doing anymore. Just sad. Like, I always like reading. The stuff I used to read are, well, Harry Potter. Harry Potter is the biggest one in my life. That's so amazingly good. And yeah, it's just stuff I really, really enjoy. So that's gonna be my favorite series of all time. Hey, our third ore. Why are we now finding all of them? We didn't find a single one. I swear to God, they must be added in the achievement mode. No other way. The other major series in my life is the Redwall series by Brian Jakes, a British children's books author, which you may or may not have heard of. It's about animals and like war, but it's like a children's book, so it's kind of weird that it's about war all the time. But they're really amazing. Very kid-friendly, I would say, even though a lot of animals are dying. It's really cozy and wholesome as well. If you're knowledgeable about Redwall, I'm currently reading through Doomwhite, which I've never read before. My favorite book in the series is Mossflower. And I'm pretty sure nobody here watching has any idea what I'm talking about. Pretty sure. Confirm or deny, guys. Have you ever heard of Redwall? And there's a few books that I've never read before, like the later ones before the guy died, sadly. But, I've mostly listened to all of them. I would be very surprised, actually, if anybody here has heard of Redwall. Other things I've read. I've read most of... Oh, gold. Most of the Twilight books. Actually, no. That's not true. I've watched... listened, rather. No, wait. Restart. I've watched all the Twilight movies. I've read 2 of the Twilight books, the first 2. I intend to listen, to read. The reason I say listen all the time is because I'm majorly into audiobooks. I intend to read all of them. I got these really gorgeous white editions of the Twilight books. They're gorgeous. And I know what everybody feels about Twilight, but, you know, I'm going to just say it. I kind of like it. Sue me. Like, I'm not a major fan or anything. I'm not, like, a fan that's, like, team this or team that. I really don't care, but obviously the vampires are better. But the reason I got into Twilight, you know, is it's like a fun thing. Another snippet in how I operate and how I work as a human being is if something is really popular and everybody's talking about it, I hate it. You cannot get away from it. Everybody's talking about it. I hate it. I cannot help it. That's how I work. Like Justin Bieber, I hate him. I've never met the guy. I've never listened to his music. I hate him because he was all over the news every single day back in, I don't know, 10, 20 years ago. I hate him. There, sorry Justin, I know you're watching. But it's not personal, mate. You can't help it. Some other... oh yeah, so same with Twilight. The reason why, though, I think it's a funny story. Like, kind of, oh, not really, but it's like a nice little story. Money Dynamite Lamp. There we go. You know, in English class, you had to read some English books. Same in Dutch class, but the Dutch books are all boring. In the English book reading assignments, you could just decide what to read. The only rules was one book per author, preferably longer than like 200 pages. Otherwise, everybody's gonna just... Like, I don't know about the kids you grew up with, but none of the kids in my class like reading. I would be very surprised if they have never read a book in their life. So obviously, they will all go for the really easy books and not read them and just like either watch the movie or read a summary. My English teacher, my favorite English teacher of all time, was a young woman that was just off the academy for teachers, and like when it was my time to do the interview for like my book list, you know, she was like, "Oh, you actually sound like you actually read the books. That's like a first." And you could just, you know, you could just tell that she was not lying. And I would not be surprised, like, at all, if I was, like, literally one of the only ones that read a book. That even knows what a book looks like, you know? Which is, I would say, is a massive shame. Because books are just magic, you know? Yeah, the reason that I read Twilight is because, for my English list, I was reading, I read The Hobbit the first time. I read the 7th Harry Potter book, which I've read like 1,000 times. But that was a really long one. So I could have just not read it. But I was like, you know what, I'm just going to read it again. Who cares? I read... one of them had to be an older book, I think. So I read the Picture of Dorian Gray. What else did I read? Well, yeah, it doesn't matter. Oh, I read one of the Redwall books. I read Outcast of Redwall. And then the English teacher wanted me to explain how I could possibly know the series. Because, you know, nobody somehow knows that series, at least not from around here. It's a shame. Yeah, so we talked about that. And, you know, then I needed like one more book. And I'm like, what on earth am I going to read? And... No, it was just when the Twilight movies came out, like 2007, 8, around there, 2009 maybe. And I'm like, should I read Twilight? You know, I kind of hate it, but I kind of want to know what it's about. So I read Twilight. Not really getting into it. Like I said, I'm not really a big fan. Like, I kind of like I like some of the ideas, you know, like immortal vampires that move around every few years. And they're actually just super rich because they blend in with society. They get like good jobs and so much experience, so they're all super rich. I really like that idea. That's a wasted lamp right there. So yeah, then the teacher was like, you read Twilight? I'm like, yeah. Huh. Nobody's read Twilight, like, from the guys in your class. Yeah, I'm not surprised. What made you, like, read Twilight? And so I explained to her, like, well, you know, I really don't like it. Primarily because everybody likes it. Kind of, you know, explaining my, like, thought process. And I was like, you know, in this case, I kind of want to know what I'm hating on. So that's That's why I need to find that cave again. That's why yeah, that's why I read it. And she was kind of impressed. She's like, oh, well, that's kind of nice. And so we had a nice chat about Twilight. And I gotta say, I gotta be honest, I have watched all of the Twilight movies, unironically, more than once. There we go. But I'm not like a diehard fan. Just don't unsubscribe, you know? I'm not a diehard fan. I'm just a casual enjoyer, you know? What were we talking about? Why am I talking about Twilight? Oh yeah, books, right. Another book that I really enjoyed, which was super dark and hardcore, is the Japanese novel Battle Royale. Sorry, my phone is exploding here. Battle Royale. It is... I hate to use the word Fortnite, but that's what you will know. Nobody will know Battle Royale. It's a Japanese novel. I read it in the English translation, which is kind of rough. But yeah, it's basically like... it's more like the Hunger Games. It's a really big... Yeah, ignore that I said Fortnite. I don't want to have that ugly word in my mouth. It's more like the Hunger Games. It's about... it's not really post-apocalyptic, but it's like an alternate universe where an evil government in Japan is doing some experiments, like some social experiments. Every year, there's one class in Japan, like one high school class in Japan, that's being sacrificed for this experiment. They are transported to an island and they have to kill each other with any kind of weapons. And only one can come off. That sounds quite familiar to the Hunger Games, right? There's some controversy where people that know about Battle Royale say that the Hunger Games is completely stolen because, I mean, if you put them next to each other, the ideas are like very similar. I'm just happy that there's more like Hunger Games-esque things out there because I'm a really big fan of the Hunger Games. I really like that idea of like one survivor, people have to kill each other. I'm kind of that person. But yeah, I would say the ideas for Battle Royale are way better done. It's a very brutal, very, very graphic book. It's not like PG-13 Hunger Games happy, oh, everybody's dying, yay, you know? It's very brutal. It's very, very, very gory. So if you're into that kind of stuff, if you haven't read Battle Royale, read Battle Royale. Like I said, the original translation was kind of rough. But supposedly there's like a remastered translation which came out a few years ago, which is way, way better. So yeah, you might, if you're into books and into Hunger Games kind of things, go check out Battle Royale. It's absolutely amazing. Other books that I have read, well, so many you wouldn't have ever heard of it. I'm actually, let's change the topic slightly. I'm going to talk about The Lord of the Rings. Because The Lord of the Rings are like my favorite movie series ever. Nothing comes even close. Favorite movie, by the way, Fellowship. What about yours? Oh, no, rip. The books, though, I've never gotten into the books. I've tried reading Fellowship a few times. I could not get into it. Then, a few years ago, Andy Serkis, who plays Gollum, which you all know, obviously, did the audiobooks. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to give it another chance here. And then, Lord of the Rings fans, you probably will know, before I say it, the one thing that made me drop those audiobooks... Tom Bombadil. Oh, like there was so much hype about Tom Bombadil because all the hardcore fans were like, oh, but Tom Bombadil isn't in the movies. And I'm like, who the hell is Tom Bombadil? And it's this weird immortal being that sings, and it goes on endlessly in the audiobooks by Andy Serkis. And he sings, and the way Andy Serkis, I know, Andy, I know you're watching. Sorry, but I hate your Tom Bombadil work. I really hate it. That made me drop the audiobook. Just, the endless singing. It's not even good singing. I'm very sorry. I'm sure that's the point. But that made me drop the audiobook. And people have told me, like, these chapters of Tom Bombadil, they're not really going to be a thing after the first chapters. But it took so long. It annoyed me so much. I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna drop these books. I don't care. I'm enjoying the movies. Usually I'm the books are better than the movie kind of guy, but for so far, because of Tom Bombadil, I'm gonna be the movies are better than the books. Which is like, I don't know, I know, it's like, it's a crime to even say that, I know, sue me. But yeah, that's my opinion. So sue me. So see, can we blow this up again, please? There we go. Oh yeah, so coming back to our new topic, the last topic of today, audiobooks, which I don't think I've got time for because I need to go watch the football match in like a moment. You know, actual football, Americans, not your, what you call soccer. Ugh. Grow up, it's football, come on. I've recently discovered, which is like a few years ago, a new subgenre of fantasy, which is called lit RPG, which is basically fantasy books in a video game setting. So some person dies in real life and then they get transported to like a video game world somehow. It's usually the start of them, and then they're basically like a video game character, usually like some kind of MMO or like standard fantasy adventure. They're really good. I'm really into that that genre right now. So my favorite one I've read so far is something that most people hate on, but I really enjoyed it. Is our Civ CEO. It's basically a guy that gets transported. This manager of a very wealthy company, the CEO rather, who made millions and millions and millions and millions. So he's basically like a good trader, and he gets transported by accident to this video game world, which is basically like Civilization. You know, there's management, there's inventory, no, not inventory, resource management, kingdom builder elements, and that's the stuff I'm really, really, really into. It's not a perfect book. By the way, we just got the best shovel. Nice. It's not the perfect book, but it's like an 8-book audiobook series. It's really good. I enjoyed it. Basically a game of Civilization as an audiobook. It's amazing. Go check it out. The first book that got me into the genre was what's it called? Guildmaster by Ivan Call, which is more about running a guild. But the later books kinda I dropped them. They were kinda bad. I don't know. And now I'm currently I just subscribed to Audible, and I'm currently like, I bought so many books. But the one thing I really want to talk about, if I remember, I'll talk about more about this in the next video whenever I record it. The one thing I really want to talk about, which was like my favorite book series, I binged it in the past few months, is a little book called Player Manager, which is basically somebody playing Football Manager. And I'm not the biggest fan of Football Manager. I don't understand it whatsoever. But this guy, for once, he doesn't die. He meets a random person on the street who curses him with like football manager skills, and he basically becomes the best manager over time. There's right now the 5th audiobook is about to release, and there's at least 9, I think. But yeah, it's just amazing. It's just this guy that the pacing is very slow, but not annoyingly slow. And yeah, he basically just becomes a football manager. So he has to like make the teams, meet the players. He's also a scout, so he needs to scout out better players. And because he's got cursed with his magic ability, he's better than the rest. So he's like this wonder kid, basically. And oh my god, it's so much fun. So check it out. If you're into fantasy, it's like not fantasy, but oh, it's so good. I don't even know how to explain it. It's just absolutely amazing. Check out Football Manager. It's on Player Manager. That's what it's called, by Ted Steele. It's on Audible. It's a physical release as well on Amazon, and then it's a Kindle release. If you're into that. And oh my god, it is so amazing. Go check it out. Please do yourself a favor, check it out. The audiobooks also are absolutely crazy good. Do yourself a favor, go check that out. If I can recommend you one thing, out of all these things I talked about, all these YouTube channels, whatever, check out Player Manager. And yeah, I think that will conclude today's episode. I'll probably not record for a few days in the hope that I can actually talk about some of your comments. But I probably just will, because I, like I said, I know there's not going to be that many probably. So, yeah. I'll see if I can like write down some more topics to talk about. But please check out Player Manager. It is amazing. It is absolutely amazing. Right. That'll be all for me. Thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts down below. Dang it. In the comment section. And yeah, have a really nice one. Join me again when we dig up the whole garden. You know, this might actually be the perfect series to talk about just random stuff. Just rant for like 20 minutes. That's perfect for this. Right. Take care, folks. Have a nice one. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.